Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler, and we have another incredible guest on the show today. A really dear friend of mine. We have built a great friendship over the years, Margaret Thorli. Margaret helps with relationships. She helps people to get their dream careers, and I have never met someone so passionate about serving and helping others. So stay tuned for Margaret Thorli. I just need to make an official shout out to our show sponsors, Craig Shelley, Beverly Hills Luxury Watches and Fine Jewellery at craigshelley.com. We are streaming live through mspnewsglobal.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. And we're also streaming through the E360 TV network, going out under Fresh Takes on Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, and many, many more. So let's bring in our guest, the incredible Margaret Thorli. Margaret, welcome to Brilliance Business TV.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. It's been a pleasure and privilege, and I've been looking forward to come and join you. Thank you.
Margaret, I know you personally. We have built a friendship over the last couple of years. You really do serve others. You help people with relationships. You help people with the job centre and getting into careers, but not just any jobs that they really want to do. You are fantastic at getting funding and helping others to fund their businesses. So we will talk a little bit more about your business shortly, but can you tell us a little bit about your past, your background, what led you to do what you do today?
Thank you so much, Mark. My background, it's kind of business, starting a business with zero finance. That was one of my first adventure. But my journey to start up that first business, incredibly, I was very, very fearful person. And that fear came through becoming very homeless at a very, very early age, and not knowing what's going to happen to me. And then eventually when social service kind of found me, and then that's when fear started to hit me, the feeling of being rejected, the feeling of being not wanting, the feeling of not, you're not good enough kind of thing. So I went through that journey from one foster home to another foster home to then I end up to a children's home eventually. And Mark, when you're younger, I'm talking about, I was about 14 then. And then fear hit me because I went to bed one night and I got up and I couldn't speak. Literally couldn't speak for over 6 months. So that fear actually came and it held me back for quite a long time. And moving forward, as kind of been in the children's home, kind of grew up, kind of have been an understanding, kind of having a stable family. And then by the time I was about 17, 18, it was time to leave the family that I know. And again, fear gripped me and everything. But moving forward, in terms of how I was beginning to overcome fear and to do what I'm doing, is that I remember setting up my first business as a market trader. All right. And it's all because I only wanted a red lipstick. If it's anything else, I was like, oh my God, I've just had my son. I was 21 and I had this thing. I think it's all about fear again, not having confidence and thinking, oh my God, all I want is just a red lipstick because it's going to make me smile a lot more. It's going to make me look beautiful and everything. And little did I know that journey of feeling of having the red lipstick actually leads me to go and run successful business. And I remember going to the shop to buy this red lipstick, and it was really expensive. And I remember shouting and screaming at the woman. And I said, I want to meet the person who owned the business. All right. I demanded, because I wanted to know, why am I paying for so much lipstick? And from there on, the man came in and he was trying to talk to me and I just couldn't get it in. And then I walked up to the man, Mark, and I said, I'm going to put you out of business. And I went home and I'm thinking, how are you going to put this man out of business? You've got no money, never run a business. And that day, fear came again. But saying that, I went and opened the business and everything. From there onwards, I own a pub. I was in the market as a market trader for about 13 years, went into own a pub and then on into opening retail shops. And what got me to do what I do, that I'm so passionate about, empowering and inspiring women, single fathers to actually go and run their own business and to get that dream job. It's that here I was, lost my business, riddled with fear, and then getting a job. And as I got the job working with this organization, and which is as a business mentor coordinator at the time, and I saw so much hurt, with the people. And I learned through that journey that people really want to set up their own business, but fear was holding them back. It was gripping them. And I remember going through that journey myself. And then I remember one day I was going to do a presentation, and this is how fear works. That's what got me to sit here. This is how fear works. And I remember I was going to do this presentation for this organization, and fear came and knocked on my door. Where are you going? Who are you? You're not good enough. When you're going to do the presentation, it's like they're all kind of expert. What you going to do? And I remember this is how I connected my fear. And from there on, I went and wrote the book. And as I went through that, I remember parking in a car park, and I sat there and I was really crying, Mark. I was crying. Tears were coming down. And I remember it's like a question came. Which part of you is a failure? The first question, when he rang it was so, it was loud. Then the second time, which part of you is a failure? I held back. But then when the third question came, same question, but it was a lot more softer. Which part of you is a failure? And as I stepped back and I looked at, and I said, actually, you're not a failure. You've just done a diploma in business counseling and mentoring. You've run your own businesses successful. And I just named all of it. But what I learned through the journey, and which now got me to work with the job center, winning fundings and work with single parents or single fathers and women, it's how I overcome my fear. And as I went through that journey, what I learned was actually fear comes in to ask for clarity. So throughout my journey, fear was asking for clarity. And then clarity came in and said, well, okay, Margaret, take actions. And when I learned those simple steps, fear disappeared. And for me, that's my background and kind of overcoming my fear and be where I am today and working.
Thank you for sharing your journey, Margaret. From a past of being homeless, having a foster family, foster life, being overwhelmed with fear, to then loving red lipstick and wondering why it's costing so much money, you have gone and said, why is this lipstick costing so much money?
Yes.
And that has given you the drive to set up as your own business and become an entrepreneur yourself. Firstly, Margaret, before we talk a bit more in detail about what you do now, you support people who, if I may say, may be slightly underprivileged. They're struggling to get work. You come from that background yourself of being homeless, having an hard childhood, which I also had a hard childhood.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to people out there that may be homeless, may be going through addiction, struggling with jobs, not having employment? What words of wisdom would you give them to know that they can go on to create a better future and get any career that they want to get?
One of the things I would say, don't give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself. That is the most important thing. And for me, that is a tool that I've actually used throughout my journey. Even those most difficult times growing up in the children's home, one of the key I used was I have to survive. I have to survive. And then I must believe in myself to do so. So if you find in yourself in a situation like that, you are homeless, you are trying to put your life back together, because it is difficult when you're homeless and want to put your life back together. There are help out there. There is absolute help out there, because we work in the local communities, local centers where we go in and deliver work to those who are actually kind of homeless or do not have fixed address but needs to get their life together. So one is believe in yourself. Two, believe you can do it. Three, there is help out there. And fourth, don't be afraid. All right. That's one thing I've learned through my journey, never to be afraid to ask for help. And I learned that through the hard way. So if they can use those 4 keys that I've just mentioned, it opens the door for them to start getting the help they need.
I have to agree, Margaret, especially with don't be afraid to ask for help. As human beings, sometimes it is difficult to ask for help, but you should never suffer alone, Margaret. You should always reach out to a friend, mentor, family member, someone you can trust, a teacher, and ask for support and ask for help, because then you will get the support that you need. Reach out to Margaret. She will support you. We have Claudine Matthews sharing lots of support for you, Margaret. She's saying use your words to ask for help. Margaret, we are going to a commercial break. So stay where you are. I want to learn lots more about what you do. We are joined with Margaret Thorli. She has shared a journey of being homeless, living from foster home to foster home, to being full of fear, but then she overcome that fear and started on an entrepreneurship journey to where she's supporting others to get their dream careers. She helps women in relationships, men in relationships. Join us after the commercial break where we will learn more. Welcome back to Brilliance Business TV. We are joined by the incredible Margaret Thorli. Margaret has shared her journey of being homeless, being full of fear, having to live in foster care, full of fear, but then finding strength to overcome that fear and start up her entrepreneurship journey. She now supports others to find their dream careers, their dream jobs, not just jobs, any old job, their jobs that they want to do. So she's teaching people how to follow their life purpose. She also helps women and men with relationships. She's an author, which we will talk about shortly. Margaret, welcome back to Brilliance Business TV.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
So I've shared a little bit about what you do, Margaret, but you will say it much more beautifully than what I do. Just tell everyone that's watching a little bit about what you do in business and how you support your clients.
What we do in business, I work very closely with the job centres, and specifically for lone parents and single fathers. That's what I do. And the reason I moved into doing that kind of work is that while I was working as a business coach and a business mentor with the job center, and there was one story that really, really touched me, Mark. I was coaching this single father regarding a getting job, and he was telling me about his difficulties. He was telling me about how he had to leave his job, and he's telling me about his daughter, the age and the anxiety. And I remember sitting there and I said to myself, if I ever start a company, a training provider, I'm going to make sure I'll be specializing in working with single fathers. And Lord behold, I faced redundancy. I faced redundancy. And I remember I built up a really great relationship with the job centers and everything. And I went back to the job center and I was joking with one of the job coaches. I said, I'm going to start my own business. And she looked at me, she said, you better do it because I don't want you in my books. I don't want you to come and sign on. I said, I won't do that. But then I said, would you support us? And she said, of course. And she said, would you specialize? I said, I want to work with single fathers because I don't feel they've got enough support and everything. And from there onwards, I started my own business, kind of wrote my first funding application form with all dyslexia and everything. And we got it, which was 5,000. I've never, ever written a funding application form before. That was my first one. And I wrote it specifically for single fathers. And we started our pilot scheme. And within that, what we offer, what I've learned through the journey, it's the fear that holds them back. It was the fear. They want to go and get the job. But it's, for example, how is my rent going to pay? Is my benefits going to be paying? Is my housing? Is my child, the school run, all that kind of thing. And because I've already gone through the journey, so I was able to develop that story to support the single parent and the single father. So I specialized in that. And like you say, for me, I believe in your purpose. It's about knowing your purpose. Every one of us, it doesn't matter the difficulties that you're going through, you have a purpose. So when I'm doing my training, so hence I developed the program, Conquering Your Fear, Starting Your Own Business. And what I know, because of my journey, I take them back from where they are, connecting with their fears and find out what job they really wanted. I don't say to them, just go and get this job. You go and get the job that you truly want. And we coach you and we mentor you and do interview role play. There was one job, there was one guy during the first recession that we had, 2008. A lot of people lost their business. And this guy came to me. His application forms are brilliant. His CV was brilliant. However, it was his interview. So I said, do you mind very much if we can, and this time he was going for a position as working with young people, who are care to live, in that process of leaving the children's home and everything. He was a single father, so he was worried. I said, don't worry, we can deal with that. I can find you how you get help, but let's deal with this. And Mark, all we did was interview role play. And he went on not to get only just one job, but he was offered 2 jobs. And he said, what do I do? I said, okay, let's have a look at it. Don't panic. Let's see. I said, is it full-time or part-time? He said, both part-time. So I said, what? He said, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. I said, how old is your son? He said, oh, he's 14. I said, okay, so you can come home. So we did that. So we actually develop your skills that you've already got and overcome that fear to go and get that specific job. I work with you step by step all the way to get that job. And if you're looking to go into business, and I think this amazing, even though the group we work with, Disadvantage from the job center and that kind of thing, I think some of them got amazing business. Again, what I do is I support you, overcome your fear, and start your company for zero. Do you like that outfit I'm wearing, by the way?
I love your outfit, Margaret. You always look amazing. I know you've got your own personal stylist as well, and there's a little story behind that as well. So let's share the stories. See, I already know all of these stories, Margaret.
But you see, this outfit that I'm actually wearing is actually one of my students actually designed it. What happened, she was referred through the job center, and throughout the training, I was doing Conquering Your Fear, Starting Your Own Business, and she was just crying all the way through. So I then asked her, I said, would you kindly stay behind if it's okay with you? I just want to find out why you're crying. And as we talked and everything, I said, what you do? She said, I design clothes and everything. So I said, why are you crying? If you design clothes, I don't have money. I said, don't worry about the money. So we talked, and as she stood up, she had the most beautiful dress. And I said to her, where did you get the dress? She said, I made it. So I said, okay, I'm going to coach you. You're going to start that business with zero finance. But this is what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to buy some material and I'm going to bring it in and you're going to make the outfit. And this is one of the outfit. And Mark, from coaching her, talking to her from zero finance, she's been in business for 4 years.
I absolutely love that story, and she's very talented as well, Margaret. Her clothes are really unique and really tailored to your personality.
Yes.
It's just incredible the work that you do, Margaret, and I know the satisfaction it gives you as well to see your students succeeding. I know that really is the reason that you do what you do. What tips would you give anyone out there that may be looking to change their career, start a new career? Obviously, there's a lot of people out of work at the moment, Margaret, because of the pandemic. People have been sacked, people have lost jobs, businesses have closed. What tips do you give us for how to start up, and also a little bit about how to get funding?
Right. The first thing to do is find out what your purpose is. What are you passionate with? Right? That is the key thing. When you find out what your ideal dream kind of business that you want to set up, that's the first key. The second one, if you're struggling with fear, all right, is find out where that fear is coming from and connect with it. And one thing I always say to people, just step out. All right, just step out. Another thing is listen to your heartbeat. All right, listen to your heartbeat. And when you connect with your heartbeat, your purpose is connect with you, you find that the work or the business you want to start is just going to flow easily. The next key I want to say, a lot of people put a lot of stumbling blocks, and I've seen that so many times, and one of them is finance. I haven't got the money to start the business. Yeah, great. You haven't got it. Let's look at how can we get that. Like particularly like now, a lot of people have lost their businesses, they've lost their jobs, and you've got a lot of young people there. So, for example, if you have a passion for a young person, all right, you can look at getting small funding in your local community. All right. What is the local community really needed out there? And a lot of people out there, as soon as you find it, your local community are quite easy to be able to fund you. There's loads of small funding, not big ones, that you can start off with and start building. So you look at what you've got with you right now and begin to work towards it. So I would say to you, Don't be fearful. Find out your purpose, your dreams, your idea, what you truly want to do, and truly just step out there. And as you step out there and start, things will start to fall in place.
Yes, great points, Margaret, especially the worry that I haven't got the money to get started. That has got to be one of the biggest fears that people have to overcome, especially when you have no money in the bank at the moment, you haven't got a job. So that is a big obstacle that people do have to get over. So it's great that you show people ways of how they can raise funding to finance their startups. Now, you have a new course that you're launching, don't you, Margaret? Overcoming fear training. Can you share a little bit about that, Margaret?
Yes, the new training that the online training that we're going to put is conquering your fear, starting your own business. Because like I say to you, people, you've got it inside you already. And it's not that you want to do it. It's the fear. Where do I get the finance from? All right. When anybody who's done our course, you will have a blueprint how to connect and overcome your fear. You will have the blueprint to register your company and start your own business without having that worries. We will teach you how to raise small funding, how to write a small funding application form to start you off. So that's what the training is going to be. It's conquering your fear, starting your own business. Just to give you a little bit of story, what happened just before two of our students finished the training, the business startup training. They went through the conquering fear. They did a 6-week business startup training just as the lockdown started, just as it started. But they registered a company, which I coached them all the way through, registering the company, a company house, because the journey I wanted to take them through is how to apply for a funding application within the local community. And they didn't have no funding. So I said, I tell you what, start your business. I said, right now, they were very passionate about lone parents and young people not having food. So I said, don't worry about the funding. Don't worry about not having. I said, this is what I want you to do. I said, I want you to go to any bigger supermarket because we're already on the lockdown. A lot of people don't have enough food. Go and knock on their doors and they will deliver food and then you share it. And they did that throughout the lockdown. No finance, absolutely none. Just literally stepped out there. They had so much food delivered and they were going through all the local borough delivering the food. By when the first lockdown, they lifted up in June, they got contract. They got contract to start their own business. Their charity.
I just love the smile that puts on your face, Margaret. How rewarding that you're really getting people out of really testing times. These could be times where people are really depressed, feeling at their lowest, feeling that they don't know how they're going to make ends meet. It's really important that we have people like you in the world, Margaret, that really do it from your heart to really help people. Tell us a little bit about your free ebook that you're offering, Margaret.
The free ebook, it's part of the book Elephant in My Stomach Instead of Butterfly. It gives you practical steps on how to reconnect with your fear and how to redefine your fear to start your own business. And if you download that, you can go to our website, hnrtrainingprofession.co.uk and download the ebook, which is free, and it just gives you a beautiful, and it's very simple to read, very beautiful, easy to read. And I would love to see you joining us actually to have the blueprint of how you can actually conquer your fear. And of course, having me to train you. Wow.
And tell us, because the book is called Elephants in My Stomach, tell us what the meaning behind that is.
Is it everything I did was fear. Literally everything, starting as a market trader, gone and have a pub, open. Fear, 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 fear. As you can see, elephant in my stomach. So you can just imagine the fear on that, and instead of butterfly. And so what happened is simply saying, although I've gone through this fear, I'm going to do that business. It didn't stop me. Although I've gone, imagine a single parent, Mark, just imagine a single parent going to open a pub with 2 young kids. Yeah, so that book is all set about my journey, how I overcome the fear. Even though I was fearful, I was still running that business. Even though I was fearful. So it was all about my journey and how I overcome my journey. And it has practical steps. So you read a chapter, I tell you a story, and then I give you 7 keys how I dealt with that fear. So that's how that book came about. And yeah. And now I've developed from the book, I actually developed the program, Conquering Your Fear, Starting Your Own Business, because I've gone through it and I'm here.
My next question, Margaret, because it's important we talk to people you can really, really support. Who are you best suited to? Who are you reaching out to? Who are you best serving? So obviously I know you deal with relationships, but career-wise as well, what kind of person would you like to reach out to you?
For this particular program, Conquering Your Fear, Starting Your Own Business, is anybody out there who want to start their own business, but they are so fearful, all right? Or you just be made redundant, all right? And you really don't, and I know what it feels like being made redundant and making that step. I know how that feels like. And go and you want to set up your own business. You don't want to work for anybody else. You want to go and set up this program is for you because you're fearful. All right. Anybody who have got dreams, ideas, and they want to turn those ideas into a successful money-making machine, this is really a really good training for you. So anybody out there who's thinking of starting their own business, no longer want to work for anybody, be made redundant, but very, very fearful and want to start building their life, this is the program for them. Or even if they don't want to run their own business, but just want to overcome their fear, yes, this training is for those people.
Margaret, I have thoroughly enjoyed having you on the show today. You are a true inspiration. I'm so glad that we got to speak on the same stage together where we met a couple of years ago. I think you're absolutely incredible. My last question will be, can you share a word of wisdom to close the show? We've been through a global pandemic. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We're coming out of lockdown a little bit. People are going to be looking for opportunities. So just give us a word of wisdom to get out of our own way, to follow our passions and overcome our fears.
First of all, if you're going through, like you say, Mark, we've gone through the year. It's been really shaky, really hard for many of us, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light is up to you to take that light to shine it through. And you can. And my word is yes, you can. And one of the steps I must say, ask for help. If you are struggling out there, don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. Ask for help, because I've been there before where I don't want to ask for help and I'm really struggling. So ask for help. Secondly, retrain. Don't be afraid to retrain, upskilling. Don't be afraid to transit your skills to a new business or to a new work. Don't be afraid. And the last one, just step out and do it. Just do it. And the doors will open. Yeah.
Margaret, thanks once again for coming on Brilliance Business TV. Just so our audience who are listening on radio, because this also goes to radio as well, the best way to connect with Margaret Thorli is margaretthorli.com. That's margaretthorli.com. Margaret, thank you so much for coming on to Brilliance Business TV. I have had a real fun time interviewing you.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark, and it's been amazing to be able to share my story. Thank you for allowing me to do so and to fulfill my purpose.
It's our pleasure. I'm sure everyone watching has enjoyed it, and I sure have enjoyed it very much. Thank you, everyone, for watching Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. Today, I have been joined by the incredible Margaret Thorli, from a past of being homeless, going through foster care, having lots of fear and struggles through life, to loving red lipstick, but not wanting to pay what a business was asking for the lipstick. So that urged and encouraged Margaret to go out and set up her own business, to put them out of business, I will say. And that has led her to helping many others to find their true purpose, to get jobs that they want to do, not just any job that the job centre gives them, to go on to follow their own purpose and get their dream jobs, and also get funding to set up their own businesses. What an inspirational woman. Margaret, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.